Hey, well, welcome to Refinery in the Philippines. Well, we've got trouble again. Boy, I got to get the dogs to stop bothering us while I make a video here. And what we've got is we've got another problem with the bearing, and I think it's the axle. We had the axle replaced on the other side, and we went the Filipino way. We didn't actually, they were quite an expensive item, 8,500, and quite a few different trips to actually find the part. Finally we went to Tagbilaran to a company called Tabil, and they were very good. They promised that they would have the part in a few days, and they were good about their promise. They said it would be in on Monday. This was like Thursday or Friday, and we said, yeah, right. I've got to admit that I didn't expect anywhere on an island like this to be able to come up with a part from Manila, and that's what they did. So I'm actually taking off the wheel now, and I've got everything slackened off, of course. I'm not going to bore you with my oh yes I am. Not too bad. I slackened them all off already, so I'm going to slacken all these off. I always get a lot of complaints here because I'm working without gloves. So here, I'm being a good boy, okay? And I won't do what so many do, including myself. I won't put these nuts in a place where they will never be found again. I'll put them over here. I'm going to get all 5. And once we get this off, we'll be able to have a look what it was that apparently collapsed when we went to drive out a couple of days ago. And the truck has been here, and I really want to have a look for myself. Usually we take it down to a mechanic. I wanted to have a look myself to see what the problem is. Now, I've got it set up on a jack, okay, and under the jack I have some nice big blocks. Okay, now unfortunately, in true Filipino style, the telescopic lever that comes with this very good jack, it doesn't look like anything. So when somebody very kindly cleaned the back of the truck out, those little bits that went together but didn't look like anything special were thrown away, or they were put somewhere where they will be very safe and they will never be seen again. So here I am. Forgive the amateur filmmaking, but I'm doing my best on my own with a 3-inch tripod. So as always, as an extra precaution, I'm sticking the wheel under there. Okay, now let's have a look-see, and we'll see what we can see with our inexperienced artist's eye, as if I am qualified to do anything like this. But I think that with a little looking and giving it a good dose of looking at, maybe I can spot what's broken. I have a good idea where the problem is, so maybe I can find it. Now, well, what do you know, if I look there, I'm going to get a flashlight. I bought a flashlight so that we will be able to see what we're doing. So now what we're looking at now, if I can just see what we're looking at there, that's the boot that goes on the end of the axle. That's what we replaced last time. Now all of that up there looks pretty good, but I don't think that you can buy this part and this part on its own. So, oh, look at that. Look what I just saw. Look at that there. Oh dear. I'm sure that most knowledgeable people know what this is. No, it's not a Malteser. Okay? It's not a Malteser. It's not a chocolate ball. It's not an oversized. It's not an oversized M&M. It's a ball bearing. You hear that? It's a ball bearing. And guess what? I think I can see another one in there. Oh gosh. Come out. Alright, go out the other way. Oh, it doesn't want to come out, does it? Probably because there's that huge oh dear. Let me get my hand in there. And what have we got? We got another one. Okay, another ball bearing. Now one ball bearing may be one thing, but two ball bearings is just too much. Now where are they coming from? Well, they're coming from that bearing race that's there. And if I prise that apart, oh gosh, look at that, what a mess. See? Look. And those bits there are bits of the bearing race. Whatever you call that from wherever you come. It's the part that holds all the bearings together. And it's not holding anything together right now, is it? Have a look at it. So there it is, and what usually happens is, I think, is that this is held in at intervals, and then instead of making a horrible grinding noise like we had yesterday, it does its job. We're right next to the chicken house here, so no excuses and no making excuses. It's life. So here, shut up, you stupid animal. Roosters, I can't stand the roosters. So, there we are. We got 1, 2, and what's the bet that there's about 8 or 10 of those things up there roaming around somewhere in that thing there. Look. Oh, and it's all broken up and it's all nasty. So what's going to happen is we're going to have to get somebody up here. Can I possibly make it? No, I can't. I've only got 2 hands and I can't show it any better than that. But I'm convinced that that's what it is. That shaft there goes into the hub, and it's held in by a race of ball bearings, or on a good day with the wind behind it, it is. And that's what's not holding anything in now, you see. Now, just in case any of those moaning minis want to know, the jack is there. My nice big, I've already lowered it down onto that block once before, but I wanted to take the wheel off, so I jacked it up another 1/2 inch so the wheel would come off. Okay, so no, don't go busting my chops about not being safe. So just looking around, I don't see anything else that is well, that is not doing its job. All of these bushings all look good. There's a bushing there, there's a bushing here. Here a bush, there a bush, everywhere a bush. There's a bushing there. There's one on the other side, I think, here. Wow, a lot of bushings. And all of this, I think, and I know just by saying I think, I'm going to get buried in an avalanche of, well, if it were paper, I'd be buried in an avalanche of people who know much better than me, and I mean that seriously, and they'll tell me how to grease all of this up, and I promise that I will listen, because, believe it or not, all you non-believers in me listening to anything that's said, I've actually bought a grease gun. I bought a grease gun and have grease. So, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting my little tripod, which is a pathetic affair, and I'm putting it up here in the hope that maybe it will do its job. Am I seeing the right thing here? Well, not really, but anyway, you can see there, look. That's where the race has to go inside, and it goes inside here, and when this here turns around, it spins around, it's driven in. Now, for those of you who have been listening to my my woes about this truck and it not doing its job in four-wheel drive, all of this of course would be mainly to do with the four-wheel drive, although obviously it has to have axles going, and these axles here has two axles, has one on the other side. We replaced the one on the other side, cost 8.5 grand pesos, that is. So all you dollar people and pound people will say 8,500 pesos, pff, nothing. But when you're living pesos, 8.5 carats is a lot. 8,500 carats, that is. So we'll be looking at having someone come and take that out, because it won't be me. But I imagine we'll be taking this off here. It's probably got a split pin to stop it coming out somewhere. Everything's covered in mud, of course. So we're going to be looking at that. And let me see, where am I? I'm upside down on my back, okay, so cut me some slack. There. There's the offending party again, okay, and that's all got to be replaced. It's going to be replaced right up into there, look. I'm getting it right now. I'm on one elbow. I'm on, let me see, where is it? Oh, for God's sake. Right. So, don't know what you can see. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Right. Oh, that's it there. That's all got to come out right up into there. And it goes up into what's called the transfer case. And the transfer case is the good guy that comes between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. So when you need four-wheel drive, you have to get in touch with those guys and they have to do their job. Now, it does connect with the back wheels, obviously. It brings everything into play at the same time. Oh, let's not go into those discussions about whether it's true four-wheel drive or not. For right now, what I have, we're going to describe as four-wheel drive. Well, when we were putting it into four-wheel drive, all that was happening was it was slipping and clunking as if it was slipping a tooth in a cog. Now, maybe we never really got it fixed. Now we replaced the other side, and lo and behold, it still did the same thing. So I'm looking at the state of this piece now, and somehow I don't think that just happened. We've been merrily going along in two-wheel drive, but then on a couple of odd occasions we heard a horrible clunk. Now that was the horrible clunk. And then finally, I'm very grateful to say that it finally gave out, and the race as a whole just collapsed. And as you saw, it spewed out at least a couple of ball bearings, and they had a pretty good size, those ball bearings. Did you notice in between my fingers? Look, oh, here's another one. Ah, there's another one. See it? Now, it's roughly about, I don't know, well, you might even think that is 1/2 inch to 3/4 size diameter, which is a pretty hefty ball bearing in my mind. So those parts have to come out, and I think that they'll have to renew that whole shaft. I don't see them replacing just one piece, so it'll be the whole thing again, and we'll have to take this out. So what the plan is, this is the plan. The plan will be flies. The plan is going to be that we will have somebody come up from the shop, and he will take that axle out, and when he takes it out, we'll clean that up so that I can put it into a bag, and I'll be off to Tagbilaran to Tabil, and I'll stick that onto the counter. That's how you do it here. You take a part. Heaven knows what happens if you want to exchange a block. I don't think I'd be up for that somehow, but I can carry that axle there. I'll take the axle, put it up onto the counter, and I'll tell them what it is, and then they'll look up whatever books they can. They'll find out what they can do, they'll describe it. However they do it, if they don't have it in stock, they'll order it. Tabil ordered the last one. They didn't have it, and they ended up practically taking it to pieces to see if they could fit an extra part to it, and they couldn't. So, thank you, idiot. So anyway, they will find another axle for me, and that possibly might have to come from Manila, which will mean I'll have to make 2 trips on the bus up to Tagbilaran. Well, I've got some other stuff that I can do in Tagbilaran, so I won't complain about that, and I'll do what I have to do, go to Tabil in the first place, and then I'll start doing what I have to do. Right now, let me see, what can I do right now is stick the wheel back on. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Actually, this is a pretty big wheel. It's pretty heavy. Now, just to remind you, everything is blocked up. The car is blocked back and forth. It can't go either way. So I'm being a very good boy here. And I will somehow manhandle it onto its place. And then stick a nut on there. Now, there will be some of you who know much better than I, and you'll be saying, why are you sticking it on there? If it's blocked up and it's not going anywhere and it's not going to fall down, why don't you just leave it? Well, I'm not going to, okay? And the answer to why am I not doing that is probably because I'm not you. And I feel that much safer, whatever happens, that the wheel is on there. I'm not going to bother tightening it up because I know that it has to come off. But the other thing is, it means that I'm not going to lose these nuts. Nothing worse than losing your nuts. Okay. And here's the other one. And we've all heard the brain teaser about the man who was very careless with the nuts when he was changing his wheel by the side of the road, and he lost all 4 nuts. It was just a small car, it wasn't a big truck like this. So let me see. No, not that one. This one. So what did he do? He lost all the nuts. I did have this worked out. He lost all the nuts to one wheel, and now he can't put his spare back on. What does he do? And of course, we all know the answer is he took one nut off each of the other wheels and put 3 nuts onto his spare until he got home. I'm tightening them up a little bit because we've got very clever dogs and they're very mischievous, and they'll come round and they'll probably start fiddling about with them. So, and the kids won't be there to stop them. Now, a very good friend of ours has managed to find new lockable hubs. That's these part here. And when it's locking hubs, let me show you. When it's locking hubs like this, this is what gives you the 4-wheel drive. And this little thing here, when you move it like that, that means they're on. And when you move it like this, it means they're off. Okay, so off would be the right thing, though it doesn't really matter because we're not going anywhere. So this gives you an idea of the kind of mud that we're going through all the time. Look at it, it's disgusting. That's probably just after one trip, and it gets like that. Okay, nothing you can do. Now, I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm going to put it down so that it doesn't have anywhere else to go on the jack. But I'll leave the jack there. You see, I have, so now that little piece of pipe that has been discarded by somebody who tidied up. It used to just feed straight onto this here. How can I get this in one hand? And it would take this little knob here and turn it. When you've only got one hand left. It would take it and it would turn it, and you'll see what happens. No, I can't do it and hold the camera. Oh, I wonder if I can set it up there. Ah, maybe. Now with two hands. No, I can't get it. There we go. Now yes, I know it was a shock when it came down, but the wheel was on and the wheel was tight, as you saw, and the blocks are underneath and everybody was safe. Okay? So that's my little adventure for today. I'm lying down here on the ground. I'm not really that happy because I don't enjoy this work, but at least now everything is safe. We have children wandering around and I haven't gone and lifted up on silly bits of blocks of wood. The wheel is back on, the nuts are tightened up. The jack is going to stay under there because I don't think that anybody could get it out anyway. You saw the difficulty that I had in moving that release pin that allows the jack to come down. It's squashed in there. Under a nice big block anyway. So I'm just going to leave all of that. And I'll leave the pipe under here as well. Or should I put that away? Probably somebody will come along and say, oh, a piece of pipe. I could do something with that before I throw it away. Nah, I don't think so. I'll put it inside. Okay, thanks for looking in on my little trial. There we are. It is one of the advantages. One of the advantages of having laid this concrete down. Which somebody even criticised that. They said, oh, what? You come to paradise and you're going to cover it all in concrete? I think I'm a few billion, trillion, squillion tons of concrete short of covering the entire island of Bihol. But hey, I'll do my best. Thanks for looking in. This is a foreigner in the Philippines, our little trials and tribulations, such as they are.